Hey folks, welcome to another Triple T Thursday. For those who's joining us, that's Tools, Tips, and Talk, where we'll discuss info for the knife maker. Today, I'm going to be reviewing this that I just got from Contender Machine Works. This is a new multi-axis rest for my grinder, and I'm very excited to show you guys and to try it out. Let's take a look. All right, let's open this bad boy up. Oh. Time to sharpen this knife. I like the little gears. All right. So we've got a box. I'll explain what this is for in a minute. Cable. Okay, so that's the tool arm. Very cool. Really solid. I like that. That's a big boy. That's a big tool rest. I might end up cutting that down. That's a little too big. We'll see. All right. Okay, there's the smaller one. And you'll wonder, why does it come with a power pack? Well, this rest actually has an electromagnet that will lock the top of the rest onto the tool arm, which I think is really cool. Let me see all the other pieces. Oh, there's a nice handle. Okay, I'm assuming that's the magnet. Out of here. Okay, so what they did include was instructions.
There are actually a bunch of different ways that this could go together. So since it didn't come with instructions, it did take me a little while just to play with it and understand it. I suggested to the guys that they include different instructions for maybe some of the different grinders and setups.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to move over to the actual grinder and set this up, and then we'll be able to see how this works. Okay, now that I've got it attached, here, I'll put the electromagnet on. My immediate thought on this is there's tons of axes here. To help you align this thing. I have already taken a 1, 2, 3 block and 90 this, and to do that you just need to loosen. It's the only one that doesn't have an immediate hand like one of these knobs. You got to loosen these two to get this thing to tilt, which I guess is okay. You don't do that very often, but it's certainly solid. Like, I cannot get this thing off. Well, I guess I can right there if I work really hard to get the small rest off. So let's try it with the large rest. One thing I did notice that I would recommend is they probably should chamfer the hole here, because sometimes it takes you a couple seconds to find that, and if these were chamfered a little bit, you would find them immediately. Not that you're going to switch it out very often, but that would just be a really quick thing to do. Let's look at the big rest, and this is a big rest. Oh, I gotta pull this out a bit. See, you see what I mean about the trying to figure out where the holes are? That is something I would do, is go chamfer there. I got it. And I'll turn the electromagnet on. So this did come with screws. or bolts, because you'll notice I can just put a little bit of pressure on either side of the big rest and it will kind of pop off the magnet. So I would probably not trust that because there's a little bit of movement here. And, oh, sorry, this also isn't tightened. There's still a bit of movement here, which, have I got everything tightened? Yes, so that's probably the magnet. No, there's a little play in it. So I'm going to compare this to the stock Broadbeck rest and see. I don't think it's got that much play in it. Like, I'm going to want to put the scallop in here for the Broadbeck rest, which I really like, has got the scallops here so that it fits around your platen. And it's got the diamond here so it fits around the small wheel, which is really, really smart. And it's got a notch here for this, which I love, and I would want to recreate this. I will say it's super solid. Like the aluminum, I love that they put the, I'm pretty sure it's bronze, the bronze rings in here. All of these knobs are super high quality. So that part is awesome. Yeah, you can see I'm marking up the aluminum here, trying to locate those holes. So let's look at the mechanism to move it. So it's got a bunch of places to move this. This moves. This moves. The one thing about it that I kind of felt like, and maybe they're going to correct me, I'm not sure why this is here. This one. I guess it gives you more range so you can kind of move this way out. But I also can, of course, move this in. So I feel like I don't need this. And if I were to loosen this or take this off and just put this here, then I would have one less thing to play with. So maybe that's just an add-on. I'm not sure if that's part of the stock one, but I feel like I don't need it and it's just an extra piece. So I'll have to talk to the guys and find out, hey, is that normal or is it for a particular configuration or a particular grinder? Because I feel like this going to here would be fine, but maybe I'll try it and see if it works. Well, folks, it's actually been a couple of weeks because I wanted to put this rest through its paces and really give it a good review. So I've actually been on the phone with the guys a couple of times just talking about some things that, that I found, and I'm going to take you guys through that. So the first thing you can see is I did cut the rest and basically duplicated the Broadbeck, you know, the scallops and everything. So actually cutting, I think I probably cut down, geez, almost 6 inches on each side. And doing that actually made it a lot more stable with the electromagnet. But I'm not using the electromagnet, and I'm going to talk a bit about that. So first off, for me, one of the most important parts was speed. Like I said, I didn't like the extra arm here because it was just another axis that I had to like fiddle with this, and you can see, whoops, it moves a lot, and when you flip this horizontal, I'll show you guys. Okay, and I do this, now I have to, you can see the prompt, I have to do this. Whoops, I don't have that tightened, but then I have to, you know, tighten all these. It's about it's a 5-minute ordeal to get this exactly where you want it. So bleeding everywhere. So that's a problem for me because the Broadbeck rest, I can go from vertical to horizontal, the stock rest, in 5 seconds. And I'm obviously this has more adjustments and it's got more capabilities. So that's fine. I mean, if this was, you know, 20 seconds, I'd be fine with that. It just has a little too many adjustments for me to use on a daily basis. But what I talked to the guys about for Broadbeck users, when let me loosen this and I'll talk to you guys about it. These arms, okay, are meant for, like, they're not making this for one specific grinder. They're making this for a lot of different grinders, and a lot of them need a longer reach. Well, that's why they put two of these arms, so, there's more reach. Well, for Broadbeck users, what you really need is and these are 5 inches, what you really need is one 7-inch arm. If you have one 7-inch arm, then it takes away one of the pivot points, which is one thing that you have to adjust. And a 7-inch arm will work in all configurations. And one thing I said, a 7-inch arm is necessary for the Broadbeck. I'm sure some of you are saying, well, why don't you just lock these two 5 inches, lock this? The problem is, with it being this long, it hits the side of the receiver, so you cannot use. It's too long. Then you can't get the rest close enough to the platen, so you have to loosen this. But the 7-inch would work great. And I also think if they include a 5 and a 7, then if you don't need the 5, you don't use it. And including a 5 and a 7 for everybody else should be just fine. And I bet a lot of the other grinders would do well just with the 7-inch. So that's my recommendation. And what I said earlier about using the electromagnet because you need to move the rest, well, if you have the 7-inch arm, you don't need to move it, because this thing will just rotate in place. This thing will just spin all the way around, which is very cool. So I think they're looking into that, and hopefully they're going to send me a 7-inch arm, and then I will be using it. One other minor thing, they have these channels in the tool arm, which is, in my opinion, not necessary. I wouldn't bother with these, but the problem is they only put them on two of the faces. They didn't put them on the other two faces. Well, for Broadbeck users, when this thing goes horizontal, your bolt is on the other side that didn't have it. So I actually had to go to the mill and add the same thing. Else, you have to screw with this in order for it to tighten and loosen, because this is like a 16th. So I did that, and I told them about that. That's definitely something they have to fix. Either don't put any of them, or put them on probably on all 4 sides. So just with those two small modifications, this and the 7-inch arm, this becomes an amazing rest, because you get all the versatility. You can tilt it, which I love, and it goes in every configuration. And I actually tried this with not only the platen, the small wheel, but I also can use it now with my 10-inch wheel. So, because I can't do that with the Broadbeck rest. And now, because this thing raises and lowers, I actually can do hollow grinds, because I can place the rest at any level and do hollow grinds on the 10-inch wheel. So I'm excited about that. I think that's really cool. The price point for this, there's an option without the electromagnet. And just for Broadbeck users, if they do this 7-inch arm, that's the option I would do, because I have this bolted down now, and you could just spin this all around, and I would do exactly what I did, is cut this down, match the Broadbeck rest, which is plenty big. I think this is 16 inches. And then you don't really need to screw with the electromagnet. And I actually had an issue with the wire from the electromagnet. Actually hit the platen and it burned through the wire. And I told them they need some kind of mechanism or channel or something for the wire to go in, so that doesn't happen. So all in all, I think it's a great rest. I will be using it, especially when I need to do angles and bevel, so I don't need a bevel jig anymore. I'll just change the rest. So pretty cool. I'll put a link down in the description, guys. Go check it out. I'm sure they're going to, like any machinery, any tooling, there's going to be a V2, a V3 of these rests. So go give these guys some love. Check it out. And If you need a multi-axis tool rest, try this one out. It's solidly built. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.